live on YouTube. I believe we're officially live on YouTube. Yep. Welcome back, YouTube. I'm gonna play some Lorcana. Just getting queued up. You know what, chat? I'm gonna go wash my hands because it was taking forever. What's steak gaming? Hello. You can hear me, right? Yeah, half cut's good. Good luck. Does it? It doesn't show the. It doesn't show what you're playing anymore. There's an update, so I'm interested. Yeah, I think it's better that way, but it's okay. Apparently, I didn't draw. Okay, I'll draw for turn. Incomanimum Elephant. Play a Lilo and I'll pass. Donald. Draw for turn. Ink a Donald Duck. Play a Maleficent. Play another Maleficent. Quest for 2. I pass. Draw for turn. Ink a Magic Broom. Play a Donald and Bodyguard. Give +1 to Maleficent. Yeah, +1 lore. Quest for 2. And pass. Yep. Mm-hmm. That does 2 to everything. Yeah. Oh, did you did Daisy, right? Okay. Draw for turn. Inca Chernobog's followers. Play a goat. Pass.
Just found a grip of Ursula's return packs for 3.99 apiece.
What'd you do? You did Zeus on the goat? I'm discarding a lot here.
Just sent it to your Discord.
Draw for turn. Ink. Amada Mim Fox. What do you got? 10 on the board right there? Yeah. It's up to you. I'm trying to grind this rank, but 2 for right. Play another 2. Play. I only have a daisy. GG's. Okay, hardcore ranked is still unavailable. We got absolutely obliterated. So that's no good. Did not see you here.
Yo, been here for a bit. What's going on?
Just chilling. Just got obliterated. absolutely shut down.
Absolutely demolish. Yeah, I'm about to do that. I'm getting 6 of them right now. And it's through them, Amazon.
I should have added some to the cart.
That's what I'm doing right now.
What are they, the Ursula Returns ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$4 a piece. Bound to pull something worth it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's funny. Bro.
Oh, I
I'm
think this
about to
is as low as I can go.
check something. Let's go back. Let's go back a notch. Because if I can do this, the order.
All right, let's see about another round.
So if this works, I'm gonna get one of these for like $1.
Please.
Cause so if you choose the Amazon Day delivery, it'll give you like up to $3 back or something for a coupon. Like not a coupon, but like just a return or something. So I guess I put in 4. It'll give me $3 for at least
there.
4, and then just put another order in and get 2 more for dirt cheap for like $4, $5.
Yeah, half cut's fine. Put back 4. Instant regret. All right. Good luck. Ink Madam Mim Elephant. Play a daisy. And pass. Draw for turn. Ink a Cogsworth. Play a Lilo. Play a Magic Broom. Quest for 2 with Daisy. And pass. Draw for turn. I'll ink a Chromacon. I'll play a Chromacon. I'll draw for Chromacon. Yep. That didn't do me any good. A little bit of a gamble there. I will quest for 1. Quest for 2. Quest for 2 with Daisy. Okay. Pass. Yes. Box. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Ink a Magic Broom. We'll quest for 1 with Magic Broom. We'll pay 2, and I will play Piglet. I will trigger his effect. Drawing a card. Quest for 2 with Daisy. Good. And I'll... Damn. Pass. Yeah, what does he do, 2? Oh, it is 3.
Damn.
Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Inca Fox. Pay 2 for Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. Pay 2 for Piglet and 1 for Daisy. And I'll pass. Two cards. Oh, jeez. All right. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. I'll ink another Fox. I'll play Goats. Play a Daisy. I'll play a Lilo. Pass. One card. Oh. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Muses have Ward, right? I'll ink a Cogsworth. I'll play. I wish. 2 for Piglet.
Damn.
1
Be
for
right back.
Daisy. I screwed up. Shouldn't ink the Cogsworth. I will. I might take him back. Going to. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't have enough. It doesn't even matter. I don't have enough ink for it. I'll play Crab. I'll just give him 3. We'll go into one of the muses. How much do they deal? 2 damage. And I'll pass. What does that do again? What is the buffing? Just does 2. Okay. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Play a Chernobyl.
God damn it.
Play a Lilo. Play a Daisy. Play a Merlin Crab. Pass. Nope. Draw for turn. Draw for Amethyst Chromacon. War for a goat. Two for gathering knowledge and wisdom. I'll quest for one and pass. Okay. Take 3. As do I. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Okay. Yeah, I did. I'll play Donald Duck, giving him +2. I'll quest for 2. Dang! That was so close. You were shutting me down the whole time. I barely just made that. That's crazy, man. Good game.
That's what's up.
I had to run it. I know a lot of people don't like the Chromacon, but it saves me a lot of times. Every game, I'm not gonna lie. I get it's like a after I made a few adjustments, it's like a 60-40 deck. So it's like as long as I play it the same way every time, like I'll win like 60% of them. You know. Yeah, for the Chromacon, and then I do a Chromacon, and I shoot for a Chromacon, a Daisy, and then 2 other 1-drops, and then that's usually how I seed my board. Yeah, most definitely. You too. Later. Damn, bro, that was a fucking nail biter.
A close one, yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Gather knowledge and wisdom and Chromacon, baby. Once again, mark that as like we'll just call it. We'll just look at my all-time stats here. 47 wins. We'll call it 47 wins, all due to the Chromacon and the fucking gathering knowledge and wisdom. Give credit 100%. Gotta buy shit from my store. I keep glitching this game.
Yeah. What's going on?
The guy that restocks boxes will like magically be carrying a box like 10 feet behind him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's goofy.
Breaking it.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm just doing shit just to do shit because I have the money for it.
Yeah. That's all you really can do at that point.
Yeah, I don't really have a strategy anymore. I just buy shit and it gets sold.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's pretty much where you're at.
No. But I learned how to do it right, like how not to buy something new until I gotta put it on the shelf myself because I'll buy new shit and then it'll never get put on the shelf.
Gotcha. They'll just have it sitting in boxes on the floor until it actually has a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're
I'm gonna grab some
asshats.
water. Be right back.
Yeah, you're good.
Hello. Yeah, app cut's fine. Jesus.
Lord have mercy.
Go back 5. Yeah. Ready whenever. Good luck. Turn. Elephant, Manamim, and ink. Pay for Lilo. Pass. I actually wanted to order some. Just to go with it.
Somewhat.
The Surfer Stitch? Yeah. For real though. Oh, I didn't see. Sorry. We'll ink a Madam M Fox. Play an Amethyst Chromacon. Draw for Chromacon. You can draw for it as well. Sheesh. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. We'll ink Cogsworth. Two for a Piglet. One for Chernobog's followers. Quest for two with Lilo. I'll pass. This guy's deck is crazy.
Yeah. What's he got out there? What are those? What are the two cards
Flynn
he's using?
Riders that when you have more power than the opponent at the beginning of your turn, you gain 3 lore.
Damn.
Yeah, so he quests for he gets a total of 4 lore a turn if you have the strongest character on the field.
Shit.
So
That's
I might put
crazy.
a Fox out there for fun.
Yeah. That's a big hit.
Draw for turn. Draw for turn. Ink a Broom. Quest with Chernobog. Trigger. Draw for Chromacon. Day 1 for Lilo. 1 for Cogsworth. Oh. Quest for 3. Pay 2 for Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. I'll pass. Four. So she's a 5, right? The Sisu?
Goodness.
Okay. Draw for turn. Draw for a Chromacon. Oh, Inca Chernobog's follower. What is the Flynn stat? 2-2. Pay 3 for Crab. I'll give him +3, and I'll go into one of the Flynns. I'll pay 2 for gathering knowledge and wisdom. I'll quest for 2 with Lilo. Pass. Oof. Okay. All right. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromicon. No, didn't do it. No. Got it. GG's. I got 1 Piglet, a Daisy, and a Maleficent. That is it. I mean, I could go into one of those with the. I guess I'll. Okay, hang on. Play a fox. Yeah, I'll play a fox. Russia Sisu. How much? Yeah, 4, right? Okay. And then the crab into the Flynn. How much does the Rapunzel have? Oh, right. Oh, she got some meat on her. All right.
Making some moves.
Barely holding on.
Yeah, see that.
Shoot. They go to discard, right? Draw for turn. Draw for Chromicon. Damn. Three for Blue. 1 for Cogsworth, giving Blue Rush. He'll go into Rapunzel. How much does she do? She's a 1, huh? Oh, that sucks. I guess I would have to. Okay, I I'll go into the Rapunzel with the crab. The crab dies. Does 3 to Rapunzel. I'll make him a 3/3. And he'll finish her off. That still doesn't help me. I'll play a Maleficent and I'll pass turn. GG's. Oh, you know what I could have done though? I could have oh, it still wouldn't have mattered. I could have given your character +3 and gone into it with the blue. And then killed the blue. I would still be 4 behind, so. Alright, man, GG. Ugh, why does ranked feel harder than before? Rough. Like, not like the game itself, but the ranking system seems less forgiving. I think he beat me last time we played too.
Looks like it is time to build one of my cheap aggro decks XD.
Hello. Good, good. A little bit of both. I woke up late, so. Alright. Half cut's fine, yeah. Last 2 games, my hand has been atrocious. No, I'll just put back 5.
Need
Or
more
4.
than a half cut
Wait.
than XP.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I didn't even grab 7. It's a little better. I'll put back 4. That'll do. Okay, I will draw. We'll ink a magic broom. I'll play a Maleficent, and I will pass. We'll draw. We'll ink Madam M Snake. I will play another Maleficent, and I will play a Trinabog's Followers. I'll quest for 2, and I'll pass. Draw for turn. We'll pay 2 for Chromacon. I'll tap to draw. You can draw as well. I'll ink a Chromacon. I'll pay 1 and play a Daisy. I'll quest with Chernobogs. I'll trigger his effect and draw a card. I'll quest with Maleficent, and I'll pass. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Ink a Cogsworth. Play a goat. Gain 1. Quest for 2 with Daisy. Okay, go ahead and keep it. And faster. Draw for turn. Ink a Chernobog's Follower. Draw for Chromacon. Pay 3 for blue. I will quest for 1 with the goat. I will bounce him with a snake. And I will... Oh, losing bodyguard. And I'll pass. Mm-mm. Draw for turn.
All right, buddy, I'm out of here. Peace, peace. Have a good night.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
Later, bud.
I'll draw for Chromicon. We'll ink an elephant. I will... Dang. No si bueno. I'll ink a blue. I mean, play a blue. And then I will play. Sorry, frick. I will quest with the snake. I'll play the fox to bounce the snake. I'll go. How much is Hiram? Frick, man. 6 is crazy. How much is Maui got left? I'll go into Maui. And I'll pass. He has 3. Okay, I will draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll play a Merlin. Gain 1. I'll play a Chromacon. I'll draw. Still need the ink. I'll ink a crab. And I'll pass. Sorry, what does the dragon do? It does just banishes any character. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Draw for the other Chromacon. One, two, three, 4 for goat. 2 for gathering knowledge and wisdom. GG's. It's a close one. Yeah, but I run out. Once I get past this, I honestly usually lose after turn 5, like because I just lose steam. Like I can dig for 2, but that's just it's all about luck at that point. You know what I mean? Like I got lucky and gained that. So yeah, it's a good one. All right, you have a good one. Damn, Chut. Dude, I'm ripe. It's disgusting. Hello. Hello. Okay. Uh, just do 1, 2, 3. Okay. We'll do 5. Good luck. You can go. Draw for turn. Inkachernabog. Play a daisy. And pass. Draw for turn. Inkachernabog's followers. Play a Maleficent and a Lilo. Quest for 2 with Daisy. Oh boy. And pass. Draw for turn. Pay 2 for Amethyst Chromacon. Draw for Chromacon. I will ink a snake and pay for a Maleficent. Quest for 2. Quest for 2. Oh. I think it's one ahead. So I did Daisy. Yeah. It just like glitched out there for a second. Yeah, that's your turn. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. I'll ink Cogsworth, and then I'll pay for Merlin Goat. Quest for 2 and pass. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. Boy. Ink the Manamin Fox. Play Baloo and Bodyguard. Piglet. Quest for 1 and pass. Hold on. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromacon. ink the Cogsworth. Pay 3 for Baloo. Two for Piglet and 1 for Daisy. And I will. Oh, hang on. Way behind there. There you go. Okay. Draw for turn. Draw for Chromicon. Pay 3 for a crab. 2 for gathering knowledge and wisdom. And pass. GG's. Yep. How long have we been doing this? I need to make actual food. I'm hungry. I need to stop snacking. So let's watch a video while I make some food.
Welcome everybody. Today we're looking at the best
of you.
decks from Disney Lorcana Challenge in Birmingham and Las Vegas. 2,000 player events each. This is the absolute height of Disney Lorcana competition. So the decks that did well here, you can very much expect to see. We're going to start off by looking at the most spicy decks, which made the top 64, which, that's right, includes Ruby Steel. Absolutely mind-blowing. Let me know if you want me to try this deck out on the stream. But we're then going to look at each ink color combo. So, for example, Ruby Sapphire. Look at all the decks which were Ruby Sapphire that made top 16 and kind of try and really spot the key differences between each list. It's also worth mentioning that each top 64 tournament, if you will, on the Sunday had a slightly different metagame, with the fact that in particular North America had a lot of Emerald Steel players, where that is something that was severely missing over in Europe. If I was playing, Emerald Steel was definitely on my radar as a deck. I did actually put a tweet out predicting Emerald Steel would win. But let's have a look at the best sellers, because Card Market sponsor this video. Ana, Banzai are really, really popular right now, which is probably thanks to the results at Disney Lorcana Challenge this weekend. First up, we've got Philip on Ruby Steel. Absolutely absurd. So there's some dwarfs in there. There's the dock, which when you play this character, you may discard your hand. And I'm kind of reacting to a lot of these decks for the first time. Of course, the ones over in Birmingham I would have watched. But it's somewhat of an aggro deck with the fact that you've got the Flynn Rider trying to gain early lore. You've got Super Goof to try and cross the finish line, perhaps. You've got Tiana. But it really focuses around locations. Jim Hawkins, RLS Legacy, and the Seven Dwarfs Mine. I'm going to have to turn my head sideways to even remember what this card exactly does. During your turn, the first time you move a character here, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. If the moved character is a knight, deal 2 damage instead. So I think it's fair to say we probably underestimated Seven Dwarfs Mine. Just being able to deal 1 damage to something consistently is actually a pretty big deal. I do believe it also has 1 lore per turn. 6 willpower. Pretty insane card, honestly. And it's really awesome to see Philip doing so well. Of course, in this deck, they do have a few knights. They have Doc. They have Happy. It's really interesting to see Gustav the Giant in there. It's just this 6/6 body. No sign, however, of Maui. But Pete's in there. Robin Hood's in there. Tiana's in there to give the deck a bit of aggro power as well and protection from Be Prepared and things like that if it's exerted. What an absolutely wild deck. Of course, not sure exactly where this deck finished after day 1, but day 2 was seeded. So if you had a really good day 1, that helped out your chances in day 2. This looks like the kind of deck which really could benefit from having a higher seed, but lost in the top 64. But huge shout out to Philip. What a deck. I've got to play it, haven't I, guys? You guys want to see it. Up next, we've got Sapphire Amethyst. Actually, the only Sapphire Amethyst deck which made the top 64 in either tournament. And I think a lot of people were criticizing my view of Sapphire and Amethyst early on. I definitely got some predictions wrong with my early meta report, but I think Sapphire Amethyst just lacking a little bit of something. I do think it's a good deck. They've got Chernobogs, but no copies of Magic Brooms. 3 Cogsworth, which does seem like a lot. In fairness, on day 1 of Birmingham, I did cast a game of Amethyst Sapphire, which performed very, very well. They were playing the new Scrooge McDuck at 4 costs, which is an uninkable 5/5 body, which quests for 2. And we saw that Scrooge McDuck and the Cogsworth here combining really, really well. I would imagine this deck can do something similar with the Madam Mim Elephant, for example. There's a couple Bells, couple Donalds, couple Christmas, couple Easy, couple Hades, and 3 big Elsas. So congratulations to Jonathan on that top 64. Very, very impressive results, but it does look like Sapphire Amethyst is just struggling a little bit at the moment. Amber Amethyst did also get a couple of top cut finishes, I believe only in America, but this is a deck I thought would do pretty okay this weekend, and I'm a bit surprised that it didn't get higher than top 64. I was actually watching one of the games on the stream from America quite late at night, and this deck was winning in terms of being a high seed on Swiss. That's kind of the money thing to do, right? If you can get a really high seed in Swiss with Amber Amethyst, in day 2, you're going to get to go first all the time, and you're just going to be able to steamroll your opponents. Unfortunately, the problem this deck ran into was the fact that it got absolutely beaten by Ruby and Sapphire. Those little Sisus can be a real problem. And Jason, despite, I'm not sure if it was Jason or the next deck we're looking at, despite going first twice, just wasn't quite able to get 2 wins while going first against Ruby Sapphire. All it takes is one little slip up. The deck itself is very clean. The lack of brooms. Oh, the brooms are there. Okay, I was going to say the lack of brooms really hurt my heart. The Pascal, I think, is like the most flexible card in this list. It's very, very close to exactly how I would play it. The Pascal, I think, is very good. I'm not sure I would play Simba either. The Simba actually is probably the card which jumps out to me as the most replaceable. Not that Simba's bad. It's just usually with this deck on turn 2, you just want to go for 2 1-drops. You don't actually want to play that Simba down. I think the Amethyst Chromacon is good. You just don't want to play it too early. This deck is a lot harder to play than it initially appears. But I think this is a pretty good list by Jason. So congratulations to them. Up next, we've got Lewis, who is also on the same deck. It Calls Me is in there, which is honestly very weird. What? Draw a card, then choose up to 3 cards from chosen opponent's discard and shuffle them into their deck. There's also Nala. Nala's kind of spicy. I actually quite like the idea of Nala. So they're playing Nala instead of that Pascal. And they're also playing Boss on a Roll, which honestly, the Boss on a Roll, I like this list. I don't know about It Calls Me. Draw a card, So you could play boss on a roll, put Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom on top, and then It Calls Me. You're digging for your burn cards. Burn, what I mean by burn is things that just gain laws. So Goats, Gathering Knowledge, Boss on a Roll. I honestly like the addition of Boss on a Roll quite a lot, actually, with the Amethyst Chromicons. Honestly, I like this one a lot. I like the Nala. Not convinced by Simba still, but interesting that both decks which made top cut are both on Simba. Let me know what you guys think about Simba in Hyper Aggro. Not convinced by the It Calls Me. The rest, though, the Nala's good. I would probably prefer Pascal to Nala. But it's definitely interesting to see Nala actually making a deck. And then there's no Mims, actually, right? So there's no Mims in this one. Interesting, I had a discussion with Bjorn over in Europe, who was playing a similar kind of list without the Mims. I personally feel like the Madden Mims are far too good not to play. But it's really interesting to see a build without the Mims can make it. For me, I would just replace It Calls Me and Simba with Madden Mim Fox, Madden Mim Snake. And then maybe the Nala for Pascal, or maybe Nala for something else entirely. Maybe 2 of each. And then that's how I would play the deck. So Hyper Aggro is still looking pretty solid. Fair play. Up next we have Steel Amethyst. This was over in Europe. Shout out to David up in Scotland. And I was watching their top 64 game. They were pretty unlucky not to quite make it through. Eventually losing to a player that did make the top 8. And I was really excited to see this deck in action. Chernobog's Magic Brooms and the Library. Also Mickey Mouse. Food Fight Defender. Underestimating him is a recipe for disaster. 1 Fire Cannons, 1 Baboom, 1 Lawrence, 2 Crabs. And then 3 Strength, 3 Zeus, 1 Castle, 3 Libraries, 4 Elsa, 3 Tinks. It's a really, really interesting deck. For me, I still love the Tiny Tink in this kind of deck. Not the easiest thing to fit, but I really like the build overall. 3 Libraries, 1 Castle. I feel like maybe you could be a little bit higher in terms of locations. I feel like that's maybe what this deck wants to do most, is just kind of get that maximum value off of locations. I could maybe see an argument for like 4 Libraries, 2 Castles. Again, I haven't actually played this deck myself. I definitely like the 4 Elsas. Strength, not a huge fan of overall. I'm still not personally that sold on the Mickey Mouse either. As much as I do like this card, it's just, I don't know if it's really doing enough in the deck for my taste. I like the card, I'm just not sure I like it here. But I do like the build other than that quite a lot. I would probably tweak a couple of things, and it would be interesting to see how David would change things after having played a huge tournament. But huge shout out to them. What a deck. What a guy. Alright, onto the Ruby Sapphire decks. There's a lot. This one's got King Candy. Now, Vision of the Future is one of the best performing cards of the weekend. And bear in mind, we are going to look at the tournament winning deck as well from Birmingham, which was Ruby Sapphire. Only 3 Fishbone Quills. Kind of boggles the mind a bit still how people would only play 3 Fishbones. I really would struggle to ever not play 4, but there you go. Great Stone Dragon, I think, was performing pretty well this weekend from what I hear. 1 copy of King Candy, which I really like to see. It is a card I do think is pretty strong, but it is another uninkable. They do have 4 dragons. They do have 2 Be Prepared and 3 Sisus. All right. There's so many Ruby Sapphire decks, so let's get through them. This one's also on Hideaway. Queen of Hearts. Little Sisu. In fact, did this one not actually have Little Sisus? That is really interesting. No Little Sisus from Justin. This one's only got 1 Daring Visitor Sisu, but it does have 2 Queen of Hearts to help the aggro matchup a bit. There's some Adam Medusas in there. There's some Sisus. Pretty interesting list. Up next, we've got Daniel Holt. Shout out to Daniel. And they got top 16 Ruby Chromicon. 1 copy, 2 copies of Queen of Hearts. 3 Ice Blocks. 3 Daring Visitor Sisus, just 2 brawls. 1 B Prep, 4 big Sisus, and they've gone for the Cuzco instead of the Hideaways. Up next, as we get closer to the winning deck, we've got Jonathan, who won a Golden Mickey with 3 Gastons, 2 Vitalis Spheres, only 3 Vision of the Future, but 4 Brawls, only 3 Fishbone Quills. Again, I guess now that you've got Tipo, maybe the Fishbone Quill isn't quite as needed, but I don't know, man. I would always play 4 personally. Let me know what you think on that. 1 Scar is a tasty little option up in the top end as well, but no human Sisus either. Up next, in first place, Federico, who won Birmingham, does have 4 Fishbone Quills, only 3 Vision of the Future. They've gone for Hideaway over Cuzco. They've got a Fang Crossbow, which is absolutely tremendous in the mirrors. It really, really impressed me when I watched this. You can banish this item and banish Chosen Dragon character. In the mirror, that's going to hit Sisus, it's going to hit Maleficence. Really, really strong. Also very, very tasty to have a single copy of Mufasa, which I don't think I saw them play. They're also on the Great Stone Dragon, but this is the tournament winning deck. Federico, an absolutely brilliant player. Big congratulations to them. Really nice to have met them. All right, we do actually have one more Ruby Sapphire, which is a top 4. Sorry, this is in the wrong order. Dig a Little Deeper. I don't think Dig a Little Deeper is good enough to make these decks anymore. I actually think it was a really inspired decision to play this card by Dinkan last set, but I think Vision of the Future is kind of like Dig a Little Deeper, right? Do you really need like this 8-cost uninkable card in the deck? I'm not convinced that you really do. The deck got quite a lot of new tools, things like Cusco, Vision of the Future, Hideaway, Tipo. I think it's quite hard to justify including this Dig a Little Deeper now. But Rice Master still absolutely popping off, getting into the top 4. Big congratulations. And another Birmingham item deck. This one's actually all in on the items with the Queen, and it did get top 8. So the Queen version of this deck still performing really, really well. Of course, we saw Ely win it in Bologna with the Queen item build. 4 ice blocks is a big benefit of this one. Of course, Maurice's Workshop giving you that really good draw power as well. 2 dimes, 1 big dragon, 3 Sisus. Very, very interesting to see that Ruby Sapphire can go 2 very, very different ways. And even though a lot of the builds are quite similar, there's 2 distinct different builds now with the Queen version and the non-Queen version. And there's definitely a lot of differences between the builds here. But yeah, this one from Federico, the Fang Crossbow to help in the mirror, absolutely inspired. 1 Mufasa. I really like it. Good job, Federico. If there's one thing I'm surprised by, it's not playing 4 Vision of the Futures, to be honest with you. I feel like the card is just very, very good. But hey, there we go. We do have another one here. Vision of the Future. All right, let's move on. Ruby Sapphire, we've seen enough of you. Emerald, Amethyst. Another very well-performing deck this weekend across the board. There's a lot of lists to look through, including a 2nd place finish in Europe. Up first, we've got Scott in North America. The Olaf's a bit weird. So these decks, guys, I feel like a lot of people build these decks quite weirdly, and there's a lot of flexibility in the way you build them. So I'm going to be really interested to see the differences. We've had a lot of discussion over this exact deck and kind of like a deck building philosophy. I like to play a lot of 4-ofs of things and 3-ofs, and just having like 1 copy of things to me, not always, but often just feels a bit off. So it's going to be interesting to see how these ones are built. For me, instantly, Olaf, like, surely there's got to be something better than Olaf. I mean, there's Chernobogs and Magic Brooms, guys. I could never personally play Olaf over a Chernobogs or a Magic Broom, but that's maybe just me. 2 copies of Cogsworth. I'm not really sure I'm a huge believer in Cogsworth overall either, but there we go. I think Cogsworth does have some interesting utility, but again, I would always play a Magic Broom or Chernobog over it, but we all know that. Only 3 copies of Friends on the other side. Oh my goodness. Okay, Scott. Scott just doesn't care. He's just doing his thing. He got regional qualifiers with this. Does it mean the deck's optimal? 3 Friends on the other side. That is really, really interesting. Personally, I would always play 4, as I'm sure many of you would agree. Interesting to see, though, there's 4 copies of this Ursula Sea Witch Queen. This card is an absolute powerhouse, of course. You can shift it onto Ursula Deceiver. I actually like the idea of going heavy on this. 3 Clarabelles, 2 Elsas, 2 Crickeys, 2 You Welcomes. You Welcome performed very well when I saw it this weekend in this deck. Only 1 kit. I would like to see more kits in the deck. Up next, really interested to see the differences in these ones. We've got Dennis Wang, who's on Cursed Merfolk. You guys know me, I love a Cursed Merfolk. I think with the bounce package, a card Witch Quest for 2 is a really good idea because it's going to give you a better matchup into Ruby and Sapphire. If you go back to my content creator set champs from Ursa's Return deck, which was Amethyst Steel, I had 3 copies of that Maleficent 1-drop for exactly that reason, to just improve your matchup against those really heavy aggro decks. And Cursed Merfolk also applying a little bit of discard and hand pressure. Only 2 copies of Banzai. It is uninkable, and they've gone for the Merfolk instead. Sir Hiss is in there probably as a way of dealing with Diablo. Speaking of Diablo, you've got Pegasus plus Crab. You've got Cloud Kicker. So quite a lot of ways. You've got Elsa as well in the later game. 3 Lyles I like the look of. I think 3 is a nice number for Lyle. 4 Crabs is a lot, but honestly, Crab is very, very good against Steel Song, being able to go like Fox Crab to remove a location, to remove Cinderella Stouthearted against Steel Song. 2 You Welcomes. Of course, you can sing this with the goats. I actually like the look of this build quite a bit. Not sure about Sir Hiss. Probably would personally play 3 kits. I do like this one a lot, though, from Dennis. I certainly prefer it to the previous build. Up next, are we going to see any with Churnabogs and Brooms? Well, this one from Bryant, also in the top 16, does have Churnabogs, does have Pegasus, Banzai times 3, 3 Sahis, 1 Ana, 1 Emerald Chromicon. Emerald Chromicon, absolutely incredible card. I think it would be foolish not to play one copy of it in this deck. I saw it putting in so much work on one of the top tables when I was spectating during my break. 2 Lars, 1 Kit, 3 Crabs, 1 Cricky, 1 Library. Pretty similar list overall, but there's definitely some key differences. This one from Morgan in the top 8 in North America, also on the Cursed Merfolk. 2 Banzai, 2 Bibbidi Bobbidi Boob. I beg your Bibbidi Bobbidi pardon. Okay, this one is spicy. They've got Ursula, Deceiver of All, Friends, Sudden Chill. Sudden Chill is a great card, especially when you're not expecting it. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, like, what is your target with Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo? Well, you can go Ursula, Deceiver of All on a goat or a rabbit for absolute insanity. There's also a 1/3 drop Clarabelle. I do like the look of this list quite a bit. I don't dislike the idea of Sudden Chill either, but I feel like without Prince John, you can definitely surprise a lot of people and you can farm wins. I would imagine in the open deck lists, this gives people a lot of things to think about. So I actually don't dislike the Sudden Chill to Ursula either. It's a little bit awkward. It's not going to be that consistent, but I honestly quite like it. Like, Ursula Singing Friends is so much value. I have been surprised that we haven't seen more Amethyst Emerald decks try Ursula Deceiver of All, and Sudden Chill is just a great card to sing twice, even without that Prince John. I like this one too. We've got much more Emerald Amethyst to look through. Oh, is this really the last one? No, this is the second place one from Europe, but then there's a few more to look through from Europe. So this one's Jonathan, who did finish in second place. Only 1 copy of that Cursed Merfolk. Of course, they did end up losing the final 2 Ruby Sapphire, and maybe more Cursed Merfolk instead of like Rafiki's could help there. But Rafiki in the mirror matchup, guys, absolutely incredible. Whenever this challenges a hyena character, this character takes no damage from the challenge. Well, look, Banzai, hyena. Rafiki in the mirror is absolutely popping off. That is really, really cool to see Rafiki's hyena ability actually being relevant. 1 copy of Cogsworth. I feel like if you are going to play Cogsworth, 1 copy is probably the right amount, as it is just like that kind of toolbox concept. 2 Mother Gothels, 2 Kits, 3 Lyles. I like the top end quite a bit. 1 Bell, bit of surprise value. We actually did see Jonathan really pop off with this Bell. They moved like 3 damage counters from their Clarabelle onto an opponent's Cinderella or something. It was a huge moment in that game. So that's definitely an interesting thing about playing 1 and 2 ofs. And of course, when you're playing Amethyst, you can bounce that card back multiple times, potentially. 2 big Mother Gothels as well. 2 big Ursulas. Very, very nice list. Very, very cool to see. Good job, Jonathan. Very lovely person as well. Up next, top 16, we've got 4 Merfolks, 4 Pegasus, 4 Banzai. This one's like much more 4 copies of everything. We've also got Madam Mims. We've got the Maleficent 3-drop. We've got Belle and Elsa. Up next, we have a top 8 Mickey winner, and this one's on Lyles times 3. No Merfolk here, but does have a couple copies of the Churnabogs followers. And Sir Hiss is in there as well to help against the Diablo in the early game. You've also got Pegasus plus Crab in the early game, and then slightly later on Elsa. You're welcome. 3 copies of that, so they're definitely liking You're Welcome. Of course, you can sing it with the rabbit and the goat and send those away. Send something like a Clarabelle away, or use it offensively as well. So big congratulations to SMP. Up next, Amber Emerald time in the top 16. We, from Birmingham, have this build, and Be Our Guest is the kind of card which stands out as the flex slot. Often these lists are very, very tight. You play 4 copies of everything, including Kida and Bruno. However, Hjalvo here deciding to go for just 3 copies of Kida, 3 copies of Bruno, which certainly surprises me. Strike a Good Match, actually, the other card which jumps out. Honestly, I like the addition of Strike a Good Match a lot. I'm very unconvinced by Be Our Guest, but Be Our Guest can definitely dig you to find the card you need at the right moment. Prince John, Kida. I just think like 4 Kidas, 4 Brunos are 2 of the cards I would never drop down. But these lists are so tight, so in order to fit in extra things, some stuff does have to go. There's no copies of Painting the Roses Red either, worth mentioning. So Strike a Good Match being played over Painting the Roses Red. Painting the Roses Red obviously has very nice synergy with the Muses. Strike a Good Match has the ability, though, to discard uninkables. Things like Diablo can be pretty troublesome if you hit 2 Under the Seas as well. Being able to discard one of them could be a really nice option. So that's definitely interesting. Be Our Guest, Strike a Good Match over Painting the Roses Red, and maybe 2 extra copies of Kida and Bruno. I think there's some more Looks like that was the only Amber Emerald deck that made the top 16. In fact, so no Amber Emerald even winning a Mickey this weekend, which is definitely a bit of a surprise to me. But what did tremendously well over in Vegas and barely even scratched the surface in Europe, I do believe we had someone in the top 32 on Emerald Steel, but Emerald Steel is everywhere in the top 16 here in Vegas. Again, I did actually make a prediction on my Twitter that Emerald Steel would win Birmingham, so I was half right. Captain Hook in this one, quite a slow card. Curse Merfolks and Prince Johns. I do like the look of this build quite a bit. It's similar to how I would build it. I wouldn't play Captain Hooks. Hypnotize, 2 copies of that. I think that's a really nice card to have in there. I think Zan was playing 4 copies of Hypnotize because basically what you really want in these decks is guaranteed instant discard. This is very comparable to the kind of Friar Tuck decks which I was playing back in set 3 with the Diablo being the obvious edition as well as Pete. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same deck that we played in set 3. The Captain Hook for me is too slow. I wouldn't play Captain Hook. I didn't play Captain Hook way back when. I think this deck is lacking a tiny little bit of discard, maybe some extra Hypnotize cards, maybe a couple of Friar Tucks here or there. I think could have been a nice option, but congratulations to Ian. In the top 4, we have Taylor, who's on Morph, Hidden Cove, Arna, 4 Hypnotize, 2 Muses, 2 Big Tinks. So this deck's got a little bit more of a top curve with the fact that there's Tink and Bruno. I don't think the previous deck had Bruno either, which I would play Bruno as well. So this one's looking much more close to what I play. Admittedly, the Muses is not a card which I would have put in my list, but I saw it performing so well for Zan that I think it was an inspired choice. This might be the same list that Zan played, so perhaps they prepped together. 2 Arnas. Very, very flexible card. It's a card I liked the look of a lot. And of course, again, when we looked at Card Market earlier, who do sponsor today's video, Arna now the most popular card on Card Market right now, and for good reason. The fact that Arna can discard a card, but then if your opponent has no cards left in hand, you've got the flexibility of doing something else. That's why she's so strong, and particularly when combined with Steel, because banishing damage should be pretty easy. Also, Steel can struggle to deal with locations often, so that extra 2 strength is not irrelevant. Even just giving like your Ursula, turning her into a 3/3, into a 5/3. Pete also able to sing Storm Rage on strength. Yeah, this is very, very close to the kind of list I would have played. I absolutely love the look of it. This looks like a tremendous deck, and I'm unsurprised to see it doing so well. Another Emerald Steel deck in the top 2. Chris, very similar list. 4 Arnas, which honestly does seem like a lot. Diablo, no Hidden Cove, but also everything else just looks very, very clean. 4 Hypnotize, 4 Brunos, 4 Tinks. This is what I'm talking about when I say I like seeing decks with 4 copies of everything, which, funnily enough, I say that, and then I criticize the Arna. This is just someone that knows what they want. I do think, though, that like these 2 Arnas being dropped down for 2 Hidden Coves could have been a really nice option. 4 Arnas does feel like a lot. As good as the card is, and in this deck it can sing Strength and Storm, it's not able to sing Bruno. 4 Big Tinks also maybe feels like a lot, although with Morph, I think it's great. The list looks so good, honestly. This just looks like my kind of deck. It really, really does. And the winner, Zan Syed, who is also on Emerald Steel. Emerald Steel absolutely dominating North America. Hidden Cove ×2 for 2 Arnas. So there's also, instead of 2 Tinks, there's 2 Muses. So here's when we kind of get onto this interesting discussion about deck building philosophy. Both players with 4 copies of almost every single card, which I've said to you guys in the past, that's how I personally like to build my decks, because you just get the best card in the deck and you put 4 copies of it in. But Chris here, you could argue, has kind of fallen victim for that philosophy a little bit too much in comparison to Zan, where they've got those 4 Annas, 4 Tinks, whereas that's where Zan maybe has decided, okay, well, this is where I can maybe play 2 copies of certain cards, 2 Hidden Coves, 2 Muses, 2 Tinks, 2 Arnas. Really, really interesting to see. Very subtle difference. In the mirror, the Muses absolutely popped off for Zan. It really, really did. Of course, worth mentioning, by playing the Muses, Zan is also playing 2 less uninkables as well, which is definitely significant. So an uninkable count of 2, 6, 10, 14. 14 for Zan and 16 for Chris. But of course, Storm Rage on draws you a card. I almost count it as like half an uninkable when you're kind of doing that count. But big congratulations to all these Emerald Steel players holding it down for Emerald. I predicted Emerald was the best deck or best ink color in the set. they proved me right, kind of, maybe. Really interesting there was so little in Birmingham. This is the deck I missed. Sorry, it was Amber Emerald, but it's a hyper aggro Amber Emerald deck. No sign of the Queen, unfortunately. But wow, isn't that amazing to see a hyper aggro deck get in the top 16? Really interesting to see that it wasn't actually a Amethyst deck. And this one is on Daisy Duck, 1 Merfolk, 4 Lilos, 4 Pegasus, 4 Queen. Very similar to the list I saw in Sweden. I kind of critiqued and saying I didn't know if I liked it that much. But Clarabelle, as a way of redrawing, you've got Chernobog in there. This is very similar to the list which I saw in Sweden, which got... It was the top cut after Swiss and then finished in second. I was kind of critical of it in my last video, but that really shows what I know, huh? Sven's in there, Rapunzel's in there. This looks like a spicy list. I'm really, really impressed that this did so well. Big job. Good job, Clara, getting top 16 qualification. Wow. Wow. What a deck. Wow. Damn, I missed that one. Another Amber Emerald deck. This actually makes more sense. There was a top 8 one. I just got my list kind of muddled up here in my tabs. Painting the Roses Red is in here. There is still 1 BR Guest. I don't really get the BR Guest. 1 Arna, which seems like a nice option. 1 Naveen is very, very, very tasty. Naveen can play Benecessity, Sudden Chill, Painting the Roses, BR Guest, or Bruno. I actually like the idea of a 1 of Naveen. That sounds pretty nice. Only 3 Muses I can get behind. Only 3 You Have Forgotten Me. I struggled to get behind. I would play 4 of that card, but they do have 4 Kida for Bruno. I criticised the last list for only having 3 of each. So it is really difficult to fit everything in these ones. Mother Gothel's pretty interesting, actually. I like the idea of it because you can bounce something back and then sing something to discard that very card. So I like the look of this list quite a lot by Kevin, who got a Golden Mickey. Congratulations. Steel Sapphire also got itself a Golden Mickey with a Merlin's Cottage. Each player plays with the top card of their deck revealed. Are you kidding me? Merlin's Cottage. So that's pretty interesting. No doubt. It's got 7 willpower. Is it an advantage for you to have the top card of your deck revealed and your opponent not? Well, I suppose it is when you're playing Porpsicles and Fortispheres. Only 3 Fortispheres, bear in mind, though, which is interesting. You see what is on top of your deck. You know if you can just play the Porpsicle to draw it. That is actually pretty damn interesting. No Captain Hooks, but there is Argus to help with locations. There's Smee. There's 1 Tipo, 1 Vision, 3 Mickey, 3 Pete, 2 Chempos, 4 Cogsworth, 3 Let It Goes, which is a lot. Ariel, probably the star of the show here. 3 Tamatoas. Big shout out to Jonathan, who proved Sapphire Steel is still a good deck. Ruby Sapphire up next. I think there's a couple of them to look at. 3rd place in Las Vegas. Christian, Chernobog's Brooms. That's what we like to see. No copies of the library. There is Flynn Rider, 2 Cusco. Only 1 Brawl. Wow, that is very, very interesting. Only 3 Sisu, 2 B Kings, 4 Elsas, only 2 Mauis, 1 Tremaine, 3 Medusas, 4 B Brown. Wow. We're cutting Mauis now? This is a really, really very, very interesting list. If I saw this list from someone at my locals saying, can you review my deck? I would say, yeah, okay, why not just play 4 Sisus? Why not just play 4 Mauis? But maybe that just shows what I know, because Christian absolutely popping off with this Ruby Amethyst deck. Congratulations. In the top 8, we've got Luke Smythe, who took down Alphos in a show match I was casting in like the top 32. Also on Brooms and Chernobogs, has 3 Brawls, also has 2 human Sisus without any ice blocks, 3 Maleficents, and has 4 Mauis and 1 big Sisu as well. So pretty different lists. Another Ruby Amethyst deck, which I think is the last one. This got 3rd place. It's Danielle, who got 3 Chernobogs, 4 Brooms. Again, I would always like to see the 4th Broom. I'd definitely like to see the 4th Madam Mim Snake. 2 Pegasus, 4 Brawls, 1 Crab, 4 Libraries, 2 Super Goofs. Hello. Only 3 Goats, only 2 Castles, 1 Maui. Very interesting list, because a lot of things have been cut here, maybe to deal with Diablo. And that's, I mean, it makes sense. You've got these 2 Pegasus in there. You've got 4 Brawls. We saw some other players with significantly less. So this player was clearly fearing the Diablo. They do have the library. I feel like if you're playing 4 Chernobogs, 4 Brooms, it's a shame not to play that 4th Chernobog if you're playing 4 libraries. But the Super Goof, really, really exciting. If you lose the board, you can gain back control. Only 3 Goats. Only 3 Mauis. It's really interesting to see as more sets progress, it maybe becomes more difficult to justify playing 4 copies of lots of cards when you can play 3 copies of lots of other cards. It's a really interesting deck building philosophy. Personally, seeing 3 Mauis in a deck, I'm not sure I can get behind it, but it clearly worked very, very well. All right, we've got a few more to look through. We've got an Amber Steel from Francis Gutierrez in Birmingham on the Lantern build, kind of inspired by Brennan DeCandio, who won a few tournaments earlier in the set with a build like this. 4 Navines, 2 Tinks, 2 Cinderella Stout.
Hello everyone, man, and who do I have here today?
Hi everyone, I'm Hamza Khan, also known as Oberon125 on Discord.
Yes, and this madman right here, man, he was second place at the end of the 9 Swiss, correct?
Yep.
And he was on red-blue, but it's not your typical guys, I promise. Tell us how many cards are on your deck today, man.
I have a special number, I have 72 cards.
72 cards, man, and I got him. Second place in Swiss, got him these bad boys here. Before we get to the details and everything, do you have any shout-outs? I know some people to say to them. Do you have any shout-outs?
Sure, yeah. Shout out to my friends in Chicago, shout out to my team BSG, Backstreet Gaming. Shout out to the Seattle folk that I'm currently working with and hang out with. Shout out to Mock Seattle. But yeah, shout out to the community, honestly. They're the reasons why this game is so much fun to play and why I do what I do.
Oh man, that's so awesome to hear, man. And okay, so I was telling my friends, we were all talking about, like, dude, we can't wait to hear your explanations, your ratios, and kind of take us to this deck.
Sure.
72 cards.
Yeah.
And I'll let you kind of just go through it. Let's see what you were cooking. Let's see what
Happy to do so. All right, we'll start with the ones. We had 3 ice blocks.
Yes.
Sure, yeah. All right, happy to do that.
3 ice blocks there.
3 ice blocks there. Ice block, actually, I was down to 2. I added 1 more because I'm on the Sisu line. And it ended up being an uninkable that I wasn't that heavy favored for, but I ended up using it and it worked perfectly fine. I got 4 pops, staple, can't do anything about that. I got 4 Visions of the Future. I think this is the most broken card that was printed in set 5. You need 4 of immediately because there's no other thing you're gonna do, especially in my deck, you're gonna dig so much. Spicy check at the end, I went with 3 Gastons. Honestly, 2 reasons why. 1 was for the Sisu line, in terms of having Sisu and Flynn Rider versus Ruby Amethyst, and also to get rid of daisies if they don't immediately grab your the Cinderella line you. We got 4 1-jump aheads, part of my 11 ramp sources in the entire deck. You got those 4, and you also got 4 T-pos as well. Honestly, standard. I don't think
ramp, right?
You can't play these anymore. Another spicy line I got 3 hideaways. Don't believe in Cusco. I think Cusco is too slow. The other reason why you need a hideaway and it's very valuable is it's easy played and you can ramp yourself. And I think that if you don't draw into your other ramp sources, you need this immediately.
These, right? Start ramping with the
Yeah. We got 4 Fishbone Quills, super standard. I thought about dropping 1, but I think it's too important, especially with the items. I went with 3 Brawls, 3 instead of 4, 3 instead of 2. I think 3 is a standard number. I like it. It helps with the aggro matchups, if any, and it's inkable. 3 small Sisus. My ratio for small to big, I am playing both, and I believe in an equal ratio for either. That if you don't do one of them, you can't play the other. So people who are like, I'm only playing the big Sisu, you're gonna get wrecked in the mirror. The mirror requires small CC for you to get rid of Hiram. And yeah, you have brawls, but people are also cutting down on brawls. Hard thing to do. The name of the game, king of all the red-blue decks, Hiram. I gotta have 4. His counterpart, Gramatala, working with that as well. Other spicy tech, Bell.
Nice. How was that for you today? I know it's only a 2 and a 72 card. Did you see it off there?
I did. I saw it. It is an insta-win card. I think it as the blue goat, literally. If I get to 15, I know I went on hand. Also, having Bell in hand, I can telegraph 3-4 turns ahead, especially if I have Dime on board already, on where I need to be to have game. If that means, hey, I need to remove stuff right now because I'm getting incremental lore, we're all good. If that means, okay, cool, I'm going to bait the Bell, I'm going to put the Bell out, and you have to remove it immediately, that's also how that works.
That is your 1 through 4s, right? Okay,
yeah. 5, we got 3 Mauis instead of standard 4.
There you go.
Honestly, I like this choice. There's a reason why I play 1 Scar with the 3 Mauis, and that makes up my 4 rush characters. If I'd played like the Fish Hook, I would have played 4. I think you need Mauis. I don't think you can really go down from 3, especially in a Ruby Amethyst with Flynn again. Other spicy tech. 2 Gastons.
I've always loved that card. Tell me about it.
So 2 reasons why I play this. 1, because of the amount of cards I'm playing, because of 72, I need more dig power. And the dig power requires cards that are also valuable by themselves. I also already play the 3 2-drop Gaston, so the shift is phenomenal because turn 4, instead of playing Hiram, especially if I'm playing against Amber Steel, I can gain 3 lore and gain a card, and you can't like get rid of it immediately. 2 Ladies of the Chair, bold choice. People always tell me you gotta play 3, what are you doing? Honestly, the uninkable count's already very high, and if I'm having these 2 and 2 works for me because I have so much other removal. I went with 3 B preps. I know people are down to 2. I honestly wish I had 4. I needed it. It's the only out we have. I don't think Red Blue will ever not play B prep.
Reset button, right?
Yeah. It's there's a reason why I play 3, and it's coming up in a second. But you need the removal, and people are like, no, we have Sisu lines, right? People are saying Sisu lines are the way to go. Sisu lines are good if you play 4 ice block. If you're on less than 4, it's a lot harder. And the amount of times that you get your first Sisu removed immediately makes it a lot, it's harder to shift it. I think the shift is required. Other spicy tech, 2 Hades.
All right, we're even past the mat. That's how many cards you're playing, man.
Well, we'll see. I actually don't know how much independent. 2 Hades, 2 reasons why I need direct 1-to-1 removal. I also need something to sing B-Prep. That's the other reason I use it. It's a 3/6, it's a big body you gotta get through. I was originally on 2 Let It Goes, but because of the ramp, you need this faster. And so I'll play this faster. And it did so much work for me. 1 Scar, similar to the line I was telling you with the Mauis, Scars, especially with Pete nowadays, you need more Scar. I'll probably go up to 2 Scars, honestly.
Fair.
I might drop something else to go up to 2 Scars. It is super necessary, and I think people are gonna start playing more. The dime package, you got 2. Everybody knows that, no questions asked. Other spice, Mufasa.
The one, nice.
This card I've been told is a trap. This card I've been told is why are people playing it? My reason is if you do not answer Mufasa, immediately you lose the game. There is nothing you can do. I think the one of us fine. I could drop it at the end if I want to drop my uninkable count, but I played this. I got scooped immediately. He's like, yeah, I can't get rid of that as like an Amber Steel player or Green Purple player, that kind of thing. 4 Tommies, standard. Can't go. You cannot drop Tommy in a items build. We got 3 Sisus. As I told you before, 3 and 3. Honestly, Sisu might go up. I think it's an MVP. And then 4 Maleficent Dragons.
Yeah, so another direct removal.
I like direct removal.
Right?
A lot of Red Blue players have said we don't need Dragon anymore. How are you getting rid of Tomato? How are you getting rid of Player Bell? How are you getting rid of a lot of the direct threats that need to be in? How are you going to remove Mufasa? I think it's absolutely necessary. So if you look at my numbers, there's a little bit of science, not science per se, but rationale that I went with my deck. My rationale is as long as you have enough of cantrips and enough dig power, it doesn't particularly matter what number your cards you're playing. Now, of course, your ratios are higher, but as long as your uninkable count is 1 to 3, you're fine, because that's a lot of what the standard is. Most decks are playing 19 to 20 uninkable cards out of a 60 card deck. I went up. Wow, this time my deck is a little bit more. It's 25 instead of 24. But that was a call that I made at the end of the day because I was like, it's fine as long as I draw through it. Draw power, we've got popsicles, we've got visions. I also qualify any ramp as a draw card because it's technically adding to your value.
Right.
We got 1-jumps, we got T-pose, we got potential hideaways, we got fish bones. Hiram by himself doesn't do it, but you know how that works.
Yes.
Grandma Tala, we got Belle, we got Gaston,
Extra inks, extra cards from deck.
Exactly. We got Mufasa, get you 2 cards.
Draw 2 in a way, right?
Yep, and then technically Tamatoa as well. So
Yes.
look at the numbers. We got 4, 8, 12, 16, 19, 23, if I can do math. If you don't want to count that, 27, 29, 30, 34.
So at that point, it's like almost half your deck is a filter
value.
slash just replacement or just
Correct.
literally pluses
Correct.
or literally that.
Correct.
Which is why you would say you can get away with that
Correct.
high plus 70
Correct.
per deck,
The
right?
other thing is, as long as your ratio of value to uninkable is more than 1, you're fine. I have
Yes.
25 uninkables, my value is like 34, it's like 1.5. That's where I want it.
Would you say also, you know, how very generous the mulligan system is in Lorcana?
Yeah.
Maybe a big reason why also this.
Yeah. I mean, people. There was a guy I talked to before who asked me, "What do you do if you don't have an item turn 1?" I was like, "That's fine." I mean, yeah, if I don't have a Hiram item or a ramp source, now I have 3 things I can get to. I need to get 1 of the 3, right?
Yeah.
If I don't have all of them, that's a problem. But it's the ratios are a little higher. People have argued go more with items. I was like, Hiram's good. But Hiram's good right away. He is the MVP, of course. You can make it work. It just requires a lot more aggressive mulligan. People have said, why don't you play 80? Why don't you play 90? Honestly, that's just my own personal take. I like the 72 number. I can go down to 66. I have played 66. I've never played over 72. I didn't watch it against playing over 72, personally. Especially if your uninkable counts are getting really high. We want to play all these cards, but like,
You used to want to just play cards just to add cards, right?
Yes.
You're playing 72 cards, but you're not just because you just want to defy the rule and play 6, right? You're playing 72 value cards.
Right,
These are
exactly.
all amazing.
Nothing
Each of
is
its
here
own,
just for itself.
it's so really good. The synergy, everything
And
is just
the
broken,
funniest
right?
part is, I recently played against one of my buddies from Seattle, who's part of this team called the Incredibles, and they were like, okay, I gotta figure out what you're doing, right? So I was like, all right, play my deck. And he gave me his deck, and he was red-blue, and I beat him with his own deck. He's like, I was out of cards. I was like, okay, did you ramp and play Mufasa? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're at 4 cards now. You're fine. The issue that this deck, and why I caution against playing more than what you're comfortable with, is distress tolerance. I'm used to playing more cards, so the micro decisions you make are very natural to me. If you go and try this, you're gonna be like, yo, there's so many things you can do. It's this, it's that.
He got lucky, maybe with his matchups and that, right? They don't understand the whole thing. You know how it is.
I was like, it is, but it isn't, right? In order for you to top these huge tournaments, there is a large factor of luck. That's why I always argue play the deck you're most comfortable with, not the best deck. Because if you're like, yo, I heard Red Blue's the best deck, I picked it up 2 weeks ago, and you're like, wait, am I supposed to remove that Quill? Am I not supposed to? Am I supposed to ramp out and play Hiram? If you play Hiram, you're gonna get it removed, and then what? Where's your other card draw? So, I've been on Red Blue since set 1. I started at day 1. And so it's I know these lines better than any other deck.
I welcome everybody to my club that I began, right?
Yeah. You're telling me, hey, yeah, like, I just started Red Blue, it's the best deck. I was like, cool, let's put them here. And they're like, not because I know the lines are so intricate. Right. I would argue it's easy to get to like 60 to 80% with Red Blue by just picking them. It's a ramp controlling, right? That 90%, that's less like 10-15% you have left, is so many repetitions, so many intricacies. It's like, hey, if I don't have ramp, am I just highwaying my own popsicle to be on curve, to stay available? And that means I'm inking my Hiram next turn. So it's one of those things that 72 is big. I think I'm now like 100% from both events that I've played. People are gonna be like, oh my god, this is insanity, I'm gonna try it. I was like, you can try it?
It doesn't just work like that, right? You need the reps to practice. But also in the 60 card list, I have noticed a lot of people, you live and die by the Hiram, right?
Yeah.
But yours just works very, very different. Like how you said, like, they're not on Gaston, right?
Yeah.
Digging for 3 filtering, Natala filtering. You have way more ways. Visions 4. It's like a lot of ways to dig. And then some ratios you're allowed to play even more. Instead of the 2 or 3 that they're like, they're so set on that I have to make a 60 card work. Like, no, this is a good 4 you have to play. Play the 4. It's okay to advance to 60. It's 4 cards you have to play in your deck.
I heard some of his top players. Zan Saeed is a great player, one of the best in the community and probably in the game as a whole. He and I were talking about this. He's like, oh, like, why don't we just play 64 cards? And I was like, I could do it, but the comfortability that you have with having answers available, right? As long as it exists within the deck, there's a possibility of me getting there. If it's not there, you're done so.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Club Lorcana Podcast Victory Edition.
Hell yeah.
We got Zan Syed. Zan, tell them what happened to you this past weekend.
I won the Vegas DLC.
Zan won the Vegas DLC. What all did you win? Let's go through it for the crowd.
I won Golden Mickey, number 14.
Gold Mickey 14.
I won the binder full of set 5 foils and all enchanteds.
All the Enchanted in set 5.
Yep. And then I won the Rapunzel, the Cinderella, and the Let It Go.
For our viewers who are under a rock, what deck did you play to accomplish this?
I played Green Steel Discard.
Green Steel Discard. Not really a deck that was on anybody's radar going into the weekend.
Yeah. Honestly, it was kind of a wild ride how we figured it out.
Yeah. Walk them through it, because, we have done this before. We're like old TCG pros.
Yep.
But for a lot of the people with us, our method of getting to the deck seemed like impossible out of left field. So talk about how we figured out Green Steel.
Yeah, it was pretty mad. It's pretty mad how we figured it out. I mean, I want to say Lorcana bro, Aaron, is a major part of it. So Lorcana bro reached out to me earlier, 1 week before, basically, the DLC, and was like, "Do you want to test?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He sent me a Green Steel list that was based around the cow. Clarabelle. And I thought the deck was not great, but what I liked about it was the Diablo package. I still believe that the Diablo package with Pete, with the addition of Pete, was still extremely good.
Yeah, and it's even better when it has fewer eyes on it, because people don't whip out the Peter Pan Shadow Finders or things like that.
Exactly. And so even though when I think decks are bad, I still am willing to test them just to learn something.
Sure.
Because I think Lorcana Bro is a good player. So I don't think he arrived to that conclusion with no
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for no reason. So I was like, okay, let me try it out. Tried it out. And the deck still felt terrible. And so I was pretty set on playing Amber Steel, and I was trying to get him to play Amber Steel as well. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I need to try out some discard packages. So what are some discard packages that you could play? And so I stumbled across Spessie's list. European caster, great player, good content creator. He had a red-green discard deck that played Robin Hood, the new red 4-drop Robin Hood that can play actions from the top of the library. It's a top 4. Looks at the top 4.
Yeah, the red legendary Robin Hood.
Anyways, I tried the deck, and I didn't really like it. Something felt kind of off about it, but there was a card that stood out to me that I just kept being so impressive, and that card was Hypnotize.
Yeah.
And I took Hypnotize, and I thought about it a lot. And I thought about it. I was like, you have forgotten me, and this card are very similar. Honestly, Hypnotize is just better because it's never dead. Never dead.
If they don't have a card, just so you know, at home, and you play Hypnotize, then you still get to draw a card.
Exactly. And so in Magic, there's an ability where you can, called Cycle, where you can discard a card to draw a card. And you could do that with lands in Magic. And so in Lorcana, I was thinking, it's the same thing.
Cycle.
At worst, it's just going to be Cycle.
Cycle 3.
Like, just get rid of this card, and we still get to draw a card. So, but at best, you can have a Prince John. And that means your opponent discards 1, and you draw 2.
Or if anybody watched your finals, at best, you could have 2 Prince Johns.
Yeah. And in this tournament, I had 4. And you can draw 5. So it was quite incredible. It was a really incredible card. And we learned that discard is a really powerful ability from Bucky. But not only Bucky, we learned it from Yellow-Green. That it can win a tournament by itself. And so with all that knowledge, I started putting together Green Steel Discard. Lorcana Bro helped me test it all out. We tried Smees, we tried Robin Hoods, and we kept cutting and trying different cards, even up until Friday.
I feel like Friday is when this deck really exploded.
And I would say Friday is where Jeremy comes into the picture. And Thursday and Friday is where Jeremy comes into the picture. Basically, the boys, Ryan, Nathan, Shark, Ed, James, Jeremy, other Jeremy Edmondson.
Yep.
Am I missing anybody else?
I mean, no, not really. That was our Airbnb fully.
Yep. And so I messaged them. I was like, yo, can you guys test this deck out? And so, Jeremy, what happened?
Well, so for my trip, basically, this was the first time I had ever been to Vegas.
Yep.
And one of the people in our friends group, he said, like, hey, I can stay in Vegas whenever I want for free. I get free stay at the hotels. And we kind of all had like a moment of silence, and we were like, that's rough, buddy, because we all know why somebody gets to stay in Vegas for free, you know? So we were like, oh, okay. He was like, so if you want to go up earlier, I can go. And we talked about it, and he and I, and later on Shark, when he heard about the plan, decided to go up Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesday, I go up, and I said, I'm going to do Vegas. So I like played in a poker tournament and went to the buffets and went to the Taco Bell Cantina Happy, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I did Vegas hard. But then, so that what the advantage of that was is on Thursday, I woke up and I was ready to get focused.
Yep.
So we talk to you, we call you on the phone, and you basically get a set. You're like, you guys need to test. You guys need to test this green steel, and you send us a list. We get it together, boom, and we're still at the casino.
Yep.
So we're playing cards in the casino, okay, but we're not playing blackjack. We're not playing 3-card poker. We're playing Lorcana.
The real game.
The real game. And so we get it together. We're playing back and forth, you know, thinking about it. We don't love it into red-purple. We think it's, like, bad into red-green, and we're kind of like, this build is just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of, in that limited amount of testing, what we were able to discern. Our big takeaway was that we hated it into blue-red.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I came that night, and I was like, give me the deck.
Yep.
Let's play the matchup.
So this would be Thursday night.
Yep, Thursday night. And I proceeded to just pummel it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like a play style differentiation. And this is where, you know, testing can become bad, where you don't know if it's the deck's fault or you don't know if it's the way that you're playing it.
So we learned pretty early on when you got there. I was like, okay, Zan's playing this deck different than we are, because when people wrath against us, we just lose. And when I wrath against Zan, he plays 3 guys, and then I wrath again and he plays 3 guys. So something different is happening.
Yeah. With this style of deck, we learned from Bucky that the way that you have to mulligan is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable to the point at which I was in the finals, game 2, up a game, and I mulliganed 7.
Whoa.
I mulliganed 7. I don't think everybody got to see that because they didn't have hand cams for that.
I don't think we got to see how much you altered in game 2, but maybe you did, and I was just sweating.
The alter was 7.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, that's scary. Like,
Alter 7, you could just get back a bunch of 3s and be out of the game.
Exactly. But no, I had Diablo on turn 2. I had the most nutty hand you've ever seen.
So on Friday, I think, is when we learned that a couple other testing teams were kicking around green steel.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the way that it happened. So I met up with Lorcana Bro in person. We're all playing in this Friday event because we need more data. Data is going to tell you whether a card is good or whether it's bad. You have to put it up against other players.
Yep.
And their reaction to it, whether they're capable of dealing with it and what type of spot it puts them in, is going to tell you whether or not your card is correct. So there's a feeling I'm looking for, and that feeling is my deck can give, like, if I play it in like perfectly, that I can create a situation where I'm fighting for every game. And I learned that feeling primarily through Amber Steel in set 3. When I was playing Amber Steel in set 3, I felt like I can win any game no matter how far behind I am.
Right. You can fight it out.
Exactly. And I was looking for that feeling. And the cards that I currently had in my deck weren't letting me feel that. even though it was like by the tiniest bit.
Sure.
So in the tournament, we were playing Smees and Crickies.
And then when you say the tournament, you mean the Friday day tournament.
Friday day tournament, which is a best of 2 8-round tournament. Whoever finishes on top finishes on top.
I elected not to play that tournament so that I could sort of walk the aisles and get kind of like a finger on the pulse of the metagame.
Yeah.
Which I really liked, by the way.
No, I love that you did that because at the time you were on red purple.
Yeah.
And I think that this allowed you to feel like rather than be narrowed in on your deck, you're able to focus on what is doing well and what you could potentially pivot to.
And I played some pickup games with some pretty good players.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam. Pretty good players that were on decks that I was noticing was all over the room. So I was like, green purple's everywhere.
Yep.
So I found a green purple player that knew me. We actually played in SCG Dallas when I played Burn.
Wow.
I think he played Tron. So we played, and he beat me. And we played, and he was beating the brakes off me with green purple, which I saw was everywhere. The red and purple deck just wasn't like configured to beat it really. And so that's like sort of what prepared me to do the pivot to green steel, because I was like, okay, red purple is great, but not quite good enough for me right now. It doesn't feel like, it feels like I'm nervous about tomorrow. I need the sauce.
Yeah.
So that was good, but also I just got a huge sense of the metagame. I came out of that and I said blue-red's everywhere, which ended up being true. It was 22% of the field.
Yeah, it ended up being the most popular deck.
So I walked the aisles. Anyway, you can keep going about, you saw Lorcana Bro. I know you saw some of the Labyrinth guys, and they were talking about green steel.
Yeah. I mean, Lorcana Bro is on that Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my main conversation was with Lorcana Bro, R&B a little bit, who was a non-believer, but became a believer by the end, but that's too late.
Yeah, Sunday is not when you can become a believer, unfortunately.
But, I mean, better late than never.
Honestly, Friday's pretty much pushing it. I really wish I didn't have to stress out all the
R&B,
time.
I did play Green Steel on Sunday, so that's something.
Fair enough.
But at the time, I'm like, all right, I got to just be around people who believe in this deck, so I can just not think about not playing this deck, think about how I can play the best version of this deck.
So there is a card that I want to talk about that I know was on our radar before we had all this collaboration, which is Morph. How did Morph get on your radar?
So it got on a couple different ways. I'll give this one to Ryan.
Sure.
Ryan was playing like a full-on Morph version of the Green Steel deck, and he decided that separately. He tested with Nathan, one of the other roommates, and he was playing Morph. And I had Morph on my radar too, but not as much. Like, he dedicated the whole thing to it.
He was really trying to figure out Morph.
Exactly, and so
that should bore me. The hell am I doing? Brenton? Hello. We'll just wait, chat. Okay. My internet go out or what's going on? Hmm. Yeah, I'll probably just call it good.